Hello students. In the ongoing series of online classes, today we'll study the second part of the chapter number 3, the two stories about flying. And the second part is the black aeroplane. The first part was his first flight. We have already read that chapter. Now we are going to study part number 2, story number 2, the black aeroplane. So this story is full of suspense, full of mystery, and full of excitement. So now let's start the story. Now the narrator is a pilot here. Narrator says the moon was coming up in the east behind me, and the stars were shining in the clear sky above me. There wasn't a cloud in the sky. I was happy to be alone high up above the sleeping countryside. I was flying my old Dakota aeroplane over France back to England. So the pilot was flying an old Dakota aeroplane and he was going from France to England. Further he says, I was dreaming of my holiday and looking forward to being with my family. I looked at my watch, 1:30 in the morning. So what was the time at that time? It was 1:30 in the morning. I should call Paris control soon, I thought. As I looked down past the nose of the aeroplane, I saw the lights of a big city in front of me. I switched on the radio and said, Paris control, Dakota DS-088 here. Can you hear me? I am on my way to England. Over. The voice from the radio answered me immediately. DS-088, I can hear you. You ought to turn 12 degrees west now. DS-088, over. I checked the map and the compass, switched over to my second and last fuel tank and turned the Dakota 12 degrees west towards England. So now the pilot is going to England. I will be in time for breakfast. Now further it is written, I'll be in time for breakfast. I thought a good big English breakfast. Everything was going well. It was an easy flight. Paris was about 150 kilometers behind me when I saw the clouds. Storm clouds. They were huge. They looked like black mountains standing in front of me across the sky. I knew I could not fly up and over them, and I did not have enough fuel to fly around them to the north or south. So here is the turning point, here is the change in the situation. When the pilot was 150 kilometers away from Paris, he saw black clouds, dark black, huge black clouds, and they looked like black mountains, huge mountains, and he could not fly up and over them, and he could not fly around them because he did not have enough fuel. So the only thing he could do The only option he had was to fly through them. I ought to go back to Paris, I thought, but I wanted to get home. I wanted that breakfast. I'll take the risk, I thought, and flew that old Dakota straight into the storm. Inside the clouds, everything was suddenly black. It was impossible to see anything outside the aeroplane. The old aeroplane jumped and twisted in the air. I looked at the compass. I couldn't believe. I couldn't believe my eyes. The compass was turning round and round and round. It was dead. It would not work. The other instruments were suddenly dead too. I tried the radio. Paris control, can you hear me? There was no answer. The radio was dead too. I had no radio, no compass, and I could not see where I was. I was lost in the storm. So the pilot was lost in the storm, and the instruments of the aeroplane stopped working, and he was lost. Then in the black clouds quite near me, I saw another aeroplane. Now the narrator saw another aeroplane. It had no lights on its wings, but I could see it flying next to me through the storm. I could see the pilot's face turned towards me. I was very glad to see another person. He lifted one hand and waved. Follow me. He was saying, follow me. He knows that I am lost. I thought he was trying to help me. He turned his aeroplane slowly to the north in front of my Dakota so that it would be easier for me to follow him. I was very happy to go behind the strange aeroplane like an obedient child. The narrator had no option, so he decided to follow him like an obedient child. After half an hour, the strange black aeroplane was still there in front of me in the clouds. Now, there was only enough fuel in the old Dakota's last tank to fly for 5 or 10 minutes more. I was starting to feel frightened again. Why he was feeling frightened? Because there was not much fuel left in his fuel tank. He could fly for 5 or 10 minutes more only. So he was feeling frightened. But then he started to go down and I followed through the storm. The black aeroplane started to go down and the narrator started to follow him. Suddenly I came out of the clouds and saw two long straight lines of light in front of me. It was a runway, an airport. I was safe. I turned to look for my friend in the black aeroplane, but the sky was empty. There was nothing there. The black aeroplane was gone. I could not see it anywhere. I landed and was not sorry to walk away from the old Dakota near the control tower. I went and asked a woman in the control center where I was and who the other pilot was. I wanted to say thank you. She looked at me very strangely and then laughed. She said, another aeroplane? Up there in the storm? No other aeroplane were flying tonight. Yours was the only one I could see on the radar. Now the narrator starts wondering, so who helped me to arrive there safely without a compass or a radio and without any more fuel in my tanks? Who was the pilot on the strange black aeroplane flying in the storm without lights? Now the narrator is wondering here. So he is wondering about that strange black aeroplane. So this is the mystery here, this is the suspense here. Who was that person and what was that aeroplane? The lady in the control center told him that his was the only plane which was flying there at that time, and she could see it on the radar, and she could not see any other aeroplane on the radar. So what was that mysterious black aeroplane and where did it go? So the narrator here is wondering about that strange and mysterious black aeroplane. So students, I hope you have understood the chapter. You have understood the story. Still you have any problem, you may talk to me. So thank you students.